Four Sensei's Divining Top, another card that I really love. Here we
And
go.
here we go.
Whew.
We're ready for a finals. Now, excited to see what happens here.
Patrick.
That was unusual.
Okay.
That's why I end the game.
Photos taken of the two of them. Look at the huge smiles on.
Yeah, these guys are happy to be here. These guys are not unhappy that you know, they have this very complicated matchup. They're excited to play Magic, and they're playing for a good prize.
All right, so Alex looks like he has a hand that's. Does he have both blast in his hand? Is that what I see there? Is that a welder blast? Or cards?
Alex doesn't know. He throws his hands in the air a little bit. That's all good.
All right, so Joe decides he's going to go down to 6 cards. And remember that you know, these games can end terribly quickly, or these games can be pretty interesting, especially post-board.
He's like first or second turn faster than mine.
Yeah, that's no. Yeah.
He runs no forces.
Yeah, I had against the Charcoal Sugar, I had 2 forces in the first game, and he still almost won. And
Yeah, he could have landed to
yeah,
him.
and then the second game I had 1 force.
I think
Destroy, 'cause he
something that's
played his more
pretty interesting is that a lot of these cards, I wonder
Less
in
mana than the,
I wonder how often people take a look at their opponent's deck list and have to ask the judge, like, what does this do? And what does this do?
You know, as the rounds progress in Legacy, you know, you see more and more people that are more familiar with the format, which means that you're going to have that issue happen less often. But at the same time, you know, there are still so many possible surprises. Legacy is a rich, rich format. There are so many cards.
Yeah.
Ponder. It's the fishy Ponder.
Original Ponder.
Force of Will, Welder, perhaps Pyroblast.
I think there's a Pyroblast and a Reb in his hand too. So. All right, Joe's shuffling his deck. Besides, that is not going to allow me to combo effectively. I'll take a random. Joe peels one off the top, passes the turn over to Alex. Alex decides to lead with a Seat of the Synod, and he plays a div top before he passes the turn.
God, look at that hand. It's so disruptive. Another Underground Sea from Joe Lossett.
Joe seems to have Kiki Jiki in his hand, so in addition to mulliganing, he you know, has at least 1 dead card.
I feel like a jerk doing this. Well, there.
Alright, he's gonna cast Cabal Therapy here.
Player or opponent?
What does that do? Wow, we got a reader.
Yeah. He probably just wants to read to make sure.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a card you haven't probably played against in a while, because
Absolutely. Well, I
even
mean-
though it's powerful, it hasn't seen much play.
Well, I mean, when we're talking about, again, an archetype or a format where an archetype that's popular is like 8%, 7% of the field, and less popular archetypes are way below 1% of the field, you know, it's hard to see all the cards. All of the good cards that exist, you might not play against one for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's else?
Alright, he names Force of Will, and
Yeah.
Alex reveals a pair of Welders, a Pyroblast, a Misdirection,
yeah.
and Great Furnace. I believe the life totals are 20 to 20.
You guys are still both at 20, right? Yeah.
Alright, so Joe plays a Vial and passes over to Alex.
I'll keep.
Alex activates the top. Those welders are gonna basically dead all of Joe's counter magic. Joe's just trying to put his combo together, as is Alex.
Okay, you draw. Yeah, I showed it to him on purpose.
They both have relatively disruptive hands.
Questionable since
Has the
yeah, probably wasn't gonna hit Goblin Welder.
land here to shuffle away the top of his library.
That's
Gonna get
precisely
a
what he wants to do.
volcanic island. There it is, right there near the top. If not on the top, Goblin Welder is likely to come down. He might hold back in case of days, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just drops it.
Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that he has 2 copies of the welder in his hand, I think he's probably just going to jam it. Or he may just pass so he can get a top activation on the end step. That's probably a little bit of a tighter play. Don't daze me, bro.
There it is.
Yeah. Alex has some of the new Star City game sleeves. So pretty funny. I enjoy them. I prefer the Don't Daze Me Bro sleeves for just that reason. Alex decides to use his div top during his upkeep. Yeah, sees a grindstone there. Now he'll leave that grindstone on top, and then he can play his welder first, and then play his grindstone.
In case you're wondering, we're speaking a little bit more quietly because with so few people left in the venue, it's very possible that if we speak more loudly, we'll be able to broadcast to the players what we see.
All right, so he decides to lead off with the grindstone. Joe's thinking for a bit.
And then at a time, right?
Yeah, now it's interesting that if he resolves the welder now, he can just start targeting himself with the grindstone and look for his painter servant, which can just be welded into play. At which point he can just grind his opponent out.
Game 1, without Joe having access to the Sarah avatar from the board, means that Alex's grindstone kill just gets there.
Yeah, it just wins the game outright.
And again, it ended the turn. Just a quick little check with Sensei's Divining Top.
And I believe there's a welder, a lion's eye diamond, and a land there. Alex goes ahead and draws his fetch land, plays it. Probably playing a welder now. Let's see if Joe has another force. No, he does not. He crosses the welder off in his notes. Alex goes ahead and cracks his fetch land. And I think Alex is going to start grinding himself.
Yep. The combination of the grindstone with the Sensei's Divining Top is just such a nice one, just in terms of when the games start making themselves a little bit longer, you're not only increasing the options that you have for your welder to do its work. I mean, just even that whole triptych, right? But even without the welder, just those two for the card selection can be really nice when the games are going longer.
Yeah, I mean, he can really just choose what he wants. Like, oh, I don't want these 2 cards on the top of my library. And in reality, he can even put 2 cards that share a color next to each other.
Yeah. One thing to notice here is that 2 of his lands are actually artifacts, so that welder has a lot of fuel to work with.
Oh, yeah. That welder is not running out of fuel anytime in the near future.
Okay, Aether Vial ticks up, and Joe Lossett has 2 Underground Seas and an Aether Vial, and on the other side of the table looks like 2 Volcanic Islands, a Great Furnace, a Seed of Synod, a Goblin Welder, a Grindstone, and a Sensei's Divining Top. We're going to see a
Ponder from Joe.
yeah, fishy ponder. That did not look like a happy face.
No.
Oh, a little
There
smile
you go.
there. A little smile. A little smile. Cracked a joke there with the judge, perhaps.
All right, now. I mean, it's interesting because Alex really doesn't have much in the way of, any sort of action right now, and he's going to start having to grind himself to get closer to that Painter Servant because he hasn't found it despite topping and fetching and topping and fetching multiple times. And in a little bit of time, Joe is certainly going to be able to just find the two pieces for his combo, at which point it'll be very easy for him to win the game. Unfortunately for Joe, he doesn't even have white mana, so I think he has to actually grab his Tundra before he can go ahead and play the Nomad.
You can see Glenn Jones there sitting at the table, computer at the ready, doing some coverage there for everyone. Alex plays with his sleeve a little bit, waiting to find out if Joe has anything else for him, and it's a pass. End of the turn, one last little spin at the top, perhaps?
Well, he already spun the top,
just
so he's
untap.
probably just going to grind himself on his upkeep.
And there we go.
Yep,
Me.
there he goes.
Okay. That's
Boom,
that
boom.
makes perfect sense, and it didn't occur to me that would be
Upkeep
outlandish.
top. Alright, there we are. Did we find a Painter Servant? Don't know if we did.
Draw.
No.
It's a great furnace on top. Leaves him with, I believe you said, a Pyroblast still in hand as a possible weapon against the combo coming out on the other side.
Unfortunately, Pyroblast is actually not going to be an answer to the combo if the combo did come out, because Joe could simply play the Nomad first.
Well, if he does it right, there's...
Yes, that's
yeah.
correct.
Waiting to see what Joe has for us.
Yeah, I think he has the Illusionist, so that should just do it.
Sacrifices the land.
Yeah. Now,
Tropical Island in play.
Okay.
Checking the library or the graveyard to see if there's anything there to be concerned about with the welder. Into play it comes.
Alright, and Illusionist.
In response to my problem.
That's one a lot of people might pick up to read. I'm surprised you didn't pick up Shaman Anchor. That's a card that you do not see every day.
And Joe...
For those of you who are not aware what Shaman Anchor does, he's a 1/2 with the same activated ability as the Nomad's Anchor, but he also has the ability to you pay mana and then you can redirect all damage that comes from a single source to him.
Yep.
You can respond now. You can respond now. Okay, so it'll.
Yeah, he'll just respond by targeting it a few more times.
Do it again.
Activation.
Yeah.
His Pyroblast on the stack.
And then that another trigger on the stack for the Pyroblast.
One of the things I thought was really interesting is Joe put the combo into play and indicated his first attempt to interact with the combo pieces, and then just crossed his hands because Alexander started talking, and he knew, Joe has his hands in front of him, just kind of folded, and he knows that there's not anything that can really happen at this point for Alexander to stop him. But he knows his opponent is still trying to figure out something to do. But he just has his hands folded because he's like, it's over. It's over.
Okay.
It's already your game, I think.
Alright, then I'll target it. A whole
Just
pile
go through
of
the
them.
motions.
Yeah. Okay.
Show it for the camera. How your combo works.
He just drops this all back into his graveyard, and I mean,
Now let me show you
he
the
has
card.
multiple 3 cards. So
I'll take it. You know what's going to happen right now? The coverage guys aren't going to know who just won this game.
So one of the things that that Patrick Chapin and as well as Patrick Chapin as well as Liam Kane, both were expecting the welder deck would have a really big advantage here. Oh, that's a good point.
yeah, Rashad points out that Alex could have pyro blasted the Court Hussar in response to the Kiki Jiki activation,
Absolutely.
but he went for the other guy. So
Those numbers, there's
Like 1,000.
a fair number, yeah.
yeah. Oh well, look at this, guys. It's time to win a whole year of Star City
year
Games
is a
Premium.
long time.
That is a long time. Now, for those of you who have been watching today, I have a secret question for you guys. Now, a trivia question.
A
for you
trivia
guys.
question, a secret trivia question. Will
It's
you
not
get the
really
answer
secret.
correct?
I'll post it on Twitter right now. But I'd like to know, in the standard event this morning, which player? This guy's a Pro Tour champion.
Pro Tour champion.
Which player played Blue-Black Infect this morning?
Wow, Blue-Black Infect.
And that was in the Star City Games Standard Open.
Yeah. If you want to win this prize of 12 months of free Star City Games Premium, what you need to do is you need to tweet the answer to the question that Jacob Van Lunen posed. Which player played Black Blue Infect in the top 8 of the standard portion of the Star City Games Open Series here in Los Angeles? He's a Pro Tour champion, for those of you who are looking for an extra hint. And tweet your answers to #SCG Premium.
Yeah, that was. I gotta tell you, I was not very confident a couple turns into that.
Now, going on to a game 2 here.
You look like you were thinking about mulling.
It's going to be interesting. Alex
Right.
has Tormod Script, Nihil
Yeah.
Spellbomb, and Pithing Needle,
What-
all
what-
of which are interactive.
One of the things to think about the Pyroblast plan for Sky Hussar is that there are the various Cabal therapies which are going to go back to provide cover. So Cabal therapy with Narcomoeba means that you're just going to be able to just make a quick check to see if there's
Figure out what's
you
going
know,
on.
Okay,
Oh, that's true. So the Pyroblast would not have worked because
it does.
he would have therapied his opponent for the Pyroblast before he went for this guy.
It does.
so.
It is worth noting, that there's an opportunity, a step with which Joe might have made a mistake, but
Yes. No, all the times we've seen him combo, he has never forgotten to do it, though.
yeah,
so.
he's been very good at checking.
Safety first.
Safety first. You know, I try to live by that policy, but sometimes I don't, buckle up my safety belt. Usually the car has to yell at me for me to end up doing it, or or the driver has to yell at me. Kids at home, buckle up. Stay in school. Work hard.
Now, Alex has a lot of cards to bring in here. I'm wondering what he's going to take out. I think Misdirection is certainly a card that's going to come out here. Another card that might come out is, I don't know. What do you think he cuts here? For his sideboard has he has access to 4 additional blasts and 5 cards that are certainly coming in. So the artifacts, Tormod Script, Nihil Spellbomb.
Is it worth saying that he can't expect to just to play their super fast game against Days Force of Will? Can he slow down a smidge, or is slowing down really bad for him?
I think slowing down's really dangerous.
Maybe he could cut down on his Sensei's Divining Tops. Play only 3 Sensei's Divining Tops, for example.
I think that's.
I mean, we're all talking about like cutting really great cards from this deck, so.
Yeah.
Intuition, I have Welder and play with.
Do you cut the blasts?
Now we hit Brainstorm.
I know they like fight Force of Wills and kill Brainstorms and
And I have Power Blast.
all that good stuff. They're also like they're unbelievable cards,
Mhm.
but.
I mean, there can be the moment where like you go for the kill, they force a
Trigger
will,
Mage gets
and you
cut.
pyroblast it. You know.
Yeah, I mean that can come up. Yeah, so if he wants to cut 5 cards and like has to cut 5 cards, I guess what I would probably cut is a trinket. No, you can't really cut the trinket mage. Oh my god, this is so hard.
I know, it's really difficult.
Jeez. Maybe you could just
I
cut
mean-
2 welders.
He absolutely needs, knowing that his opponent has Serra Avatar, he absolutely needs to have a graveyard kill effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let that trigger happen, and then get rid of the graveyard so that the Serra Avatar doesn't stop it.
Mm-hmm. And also the graveyard stuff works defensively as well.
Like I said, I still actually think that this might be a show and tell situation. Joe Lossett's deck can't win from a dead stop. Joe Lossett needs to have stuff developed on the board. So if, for example, Alexander Kwan goes show and tell Emrakul, and then doesn't die, then he's won the game.
That's true. But, if Joe Lossett goes Worldly Tutor for Gilded Drake, then he's won the game.
Yeah.
So, it's all these, like, really weird ifs. It's a very,
And you know, the thing about a Gilded Drake, though, Gilded Drake can be blasted. So
that's
many
true.
layers.
There are so many layers. Oh my goodness. Well, does it matter if you blast Gilded Drake?
Yeah, you get your. Oh no, the Gilded Drake is a
Yeah,
swap.
yeah, it's not
a
like a
swap. It's
sour.
not. It's not a sour. It's a
Yeah.
swap. Yeah, never mind. My bad.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what?
Yeah, Gilded Drake does some hard work.
I mean, Red Elemental Blast, Power Blast, counter the Gilded
Countering the Gilded Drake, yeah.
Drake. That'll do it. Yeah, Gilded Drake is Waterfront Bouncer's best friend.
Believe me, I am well aware. My friend Ben Dempsey was top-aided, I believe, a Grand Prix with the very first version of the basically the Enlightened Tutor package deck that ran that combo.
Combo is sweet. Alright, here we are.
Temporary
Alex on the
solution.
fly.
I was struggling to remember the name of it.
Go, Alex leads off
Seed of
with
Synod.
a Pithing Needle.
You said ability to 2 again?
He goes ahead and
Does
is...
nothing. That's one against target. I need to do it to no monster or
And apparently he's going to have to read the Miranda rights of Magic to Joe Lossett for that one.
So that's name. What is that naming? Nomad Zankor. Okay.
And here we have Aether Vial.
So vial.
And he's already ready to untap.
Uh-huh.
Kind of broadcasting no Force of Will in hand, I would believe. Is that, I can't tell, is that an Ancient Tomb?
Yep. And he's going to go down to 18. And he plays a Nihil Spellbomb.
Okay, Nile Spellbomb's good.
Wow, this is suddenly getting very difficult for Joe. And a Grindstone. So, this seems pretty rough for Joe now.
Now, Joe has access to Kasali Pride Mage to answer this situation as well as Croson Grip. But it does mean he has to slow down. Throws another one.
Another Grindstone on the table.
Taps out because he knows that's pretty unlikely for him to lose the game right here. It could happen.
Anything's possible.
With that Python Needle, actually that takes out the opportunity for the opening for that.
Yeah, at least not on this turn.
Not in this turn. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Brainstorm, classic Ice Age.
Well, let's see. Because he needs to find an answer for the spell bomb. And the needle should be okay. He can shuffle away nomads. He can tutor up a shaman and he gets a chance. The Encore tribe. Such nice people. Humble, you know, good food.
Always willing to take a blow for somebody else.
Yeah. No.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God.
No,
they
they give it to
pass on
somebody
the injury,
else.
don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, they do.
Pass it on.
Yeah.
Lets you and him fight. Oh. You don't want to hit me. Hit Jacob.
All right, so Joe brainstorms. He puts back the 2 cards that he doesn't want, and then he uses a fetch land to shuffle them back into his library. This is a very, very common use of brainstorm in the Legacy format. Now, Joe's going to tap the Underground Sea he has here, and I think that's a Cabal Therapy. Yep.
There it is. Good call.
So, Cabal Therapy. I imagine he's going to name... it's actually... I wonder what I would even expect my opponent to have at this point. And I think here, I think you just name Intuition.
Yeah, you name something that's outside of the reach of that mana that he has so far.
Yeah, I think I name Intuition.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Is that a land and a Painter Servant?
What did he name? He named Intuition?
Named exactly what you called.
Yeah. What a master. This guy's so good.
Which guy?
Joe Lossett.
Okay.
He's playing breakfast, and he does everything I say he's going to do.
That's
He's a
why I
master.
said which guy?
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
like,
you might have been talking
I think
about yourself.
I'm afraid that he's me. I'm terrified.
He's you in several years, perhaps.
Maybe. Now,
Okay.
Alex plays Blue to Delta, and he's gonna crack that. I believe he'll probably go ahead and cast his Painter Servant with that Nihil Spellbomb along with it. That should be enough to close it.
There's 2.
That's all players, right?
Everything is blue.
I know, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Now,
I'll name blue.
Interested to see what comes of this turn. Okay.
Pyroblast, the Aether
Pyroblast,
spell.
the Aether Blast.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
That is really awesome.
This means he's not going to be under threat of dying this turn. Not with the Pithing Needle there.
No. And that should handle it now.
Says go.
Yeah. And
A Croson Grip can still interrupt the combo.
that's true. Crescent Grip does in fact do it.
And show me the grip.
A response to that.
Yep.
And in response. Which does mean, however, he's like thinking. Nihil Spellbomb doesn't cost anything unless you want to draw a card.
Alright. Yeah, even if Joe flips to this Air Avatar, Alex is just going to removed from the game.
Yep, spell bomb.
Yeah, Alex explains that even if Sarah Haber target's flipped, he has the spell bomb. Alright, so now they're off to a game 3, and it's a pretty exciting finals. People are
Yeah.
you know, fighting hard. I will. That's fine. Now, this is we're starting to see Alex's sideboard is really shining here.
Absolutely. Patrick Chapin said earlier that he looked at the sideboard and thought this was a really great sideboard in terms of interacting with the opponent and just doing a lot of work. Slowing the opponent down.
And I mean, now seeing the two decks play out post board, I think Joe may have had an advantage in game 1, but I think post board, I think Alex has definitely got it. The Nihil Spellbomb works very well on offense and defense. Joe doesn't have cards like Repeal, and he doesn't have a Living Wish package that helps him answer it as well as he might be able to otherwise. Of course, there are a lot of things Joe can do that are very dangerous for Alex also. For example, like a Kataki. It's pretty backbreaking.
Kataki is just a really frightening card for Alexander. I mean, he has 7 artifact lands. He's got Mox Opals. He's got Sensei's Divining Top. And then his combo is artifact-based. He could just very easily be crippled.
There's a story about the dragon. Pretty bad. In the top 8, he had lethal on me. I convinced him that I was gonna win next turn, but he already had me that one turn. I hope you don't mind telling the story. Go ahead. He conceded to me, even though he had killed me as lethal on the
Now,
top 8. And it was true. I was gonna kill you next turn, but you already had.
it's interesting to see Alex's deck is, it's a deck that has kind of been like synonymous with the Star City Games Legacy Open Series. This blue-red deck, the deck with the this very similar list to this. I'm not sure if it's exact. It's almost exact. Has been played by Caleb Durward, Lou Laskin, Nick Spagnolo, Michael Pazgai, a lot of like name players who do very well at these Star City Game events have all been battling with Alex's deck, and they've top 16'd almost consistently with it, but nobody's ever actually broken in the top 8. So this is a pretty exciting moment for this deck that's been performing exceptionally well for such a long time.
Absolutely.
To actually be here in the finals. And Joe, on the other hand, Joe is playing a deck that's completely off the radar. The closest this got to the radar was when Drew Levin and Mike Flores played a deck that was similar to it, that also had a life combo at Edison, New Jersey. This is a deck that I've actually been working on, so I'm excited to see it go so deep here. I'm excited to see how this final game goes.
Alexander taking a little bit of a glance before Joe makes his decision. His friend rubbernecking over the shoulder to see if he can get a glance too. See a Force of Will, Pyroblast, or Red Elemental Blast. I think I saw a Pyroblast as well.
Oh, you mean for any event?
I mean, it does seem to me that Alexander Kwan has turned into kind of a quasi-draw go deck in a certain way.
It's interesting. It's like he has his legacy tumble magnets, the artifacts that affect the graveyard.
Cabal Therapy. Naming.
I'm not gonna say anything.
They're all like 2 and 1.
Good call. You did good.
Goblin Welder goes away.
Oh, nice.
At least it was only a 1-for-1.
Force
that's a
of Will,
pretty good hand.
Brainstorm, Pyroblast, and what's underneath that Brainstorm?
Brainstorm.
Double brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Do the same thing.
I mean,
I write it down really quickly and then I can't read it.
that hand is not really what Alex wants, though. Interestingly enough, it doesn't have the tools that he really needs to do.
Well, he's still playing a draw-go game, and as a draw-go hand goes, that one's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. Alright, so Joe cracks a fetch land, goes down to 19, and I'm interested to see if he plays something to try to bait a force, or if he, Cabal Therapy definitely lost value now that he knows that his opponent has double Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Perhaps the correct card to name first with the Cabal Therapy in this matchup is Brainstorm. And I didn't know that prior to this, but I think I may know that now.
Yeah. Narcomoeba gets access for a Cabal Therapy. Pyroblast is not terrible here, just to brainstorm.
Hide some cards.
Hide some stuff.
You really only want to hide one, though. You want to shuffle the other one away with a fetch land the next turn if you can. Just like put a land underneath a...
What do I have?
What did you put down?
Now he's doing that in response to the Narcomoeba, it sounds like, because
Ooh, really?
yeah, I mean he doesn't know how to have the unless he just declared, unless Joe Lossett declared the Cabal Therapy but didn't, take it out of the yard. Okay, he did just not do the, he just named it, he just said it, he didn't do the rest of it. Okay, good, that's good to know. Again, Joe Lossett folding the hands, waiting to see how things go.
Okay.
Very patient.
Let's see. No,
Feel free to name something. Brainstorm it is.
yep. The Nabs Brainstorm.
Looks like a Mox Opal, Pyro, or a Red Elemental Blast, land, Force of Will.
Yep. And now he doesn't have a blue card to go this force anymore.
The final game.
What is that?
Says go. Can't quite see what he drew there.
Assume it's a land. Oh, it's a Flooded Strand. I saw it when he brainstormed. Right, Joe plays a Tundra. Making the trifecta of the most expensive duels.
It's crazy how much the dual ends have become worth.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember that I couldn't believe that lands were more expensive than packs at my local store when they were like $4. Pretty unreal. Man, I wish I had a time machine. Awesome.
Alexander draws. That glare looks like maybe a volcanic island.
It's Volcanic Island. He has 4 cards in his hand.
Is it 5 maybe?
Oh, 5. I believe he has a Force,
That's 5.
Mox Opal, a Pyroblast, and 2 lands, including a City of Traders. Joe plays a land and passes back. Alex is, mulling over his options here. He has a choice between City of Traders or just a regular land, and City of Traders would allow him to hardcast his Force at will. So
He goes with it.
yeah, that seems like it's certainly the safer play. He doesn't know what kind of danger he might be in. He doesn't know where the game state really is right now.
It's also a way to tell his opponent that he doesn't have a blue card.
Yeah, that's true. Or that he might just not want to discard it.
Here comes Abeyance.
Ooh.
I haven't seen this card cast since Matt Lindy versus Mike Long. Oh man, that was 1997 or 8 U.S. Nationals.
Yeah. Ooh, Joe, I think Joe may have just baited with that Abeyance.
Ponder.
And, I don't think Joe's played a land yet, so, he could go land, no, that doesn't work because he knows his opponent's Pyroblast. If he does land Scephaled Illusionist, you would expect him to have, another copy in his hand.
Taps 2 mana for the City Traders.
Yeah, and probably plays another, an island.
There goes City.
Yep, and then he
Torment's
plays the
Crypt.
Torment's Crypt.
Holds things off for a moment. Says go. Burns for 2. It's amazing how a mana burn doesn't cause damage anymore. The laws of the universe have changed.
Yeah, I'm surprised Joe didn't use the Force Will he had there on that Torment's Crypt.
Don't worry, I won't attack you. 200 life fine. Wait, no, it's time, so if he has more life, it's not time.
One of the things about this matchup is it's actually incredibly interactive. And you know, there's been talk about the way that these decks, combo are non-interactive. It can be non-interactive, but as we've seen here, this is been very much kind of a chess match between these two players.
Yeah, I mean, Alex's disruption pieces have really taken this match to a place where it's definitely favorable for him, as opposed to pre-board where it really looked like Joe with a faster fishbowl was just better off.
Killing me if you kept that Narcomoeba and beat me down. That would have been a better play.
Like to see what a Torment's Crypt. All right.
It's worth noting that this top 8 had 8 different archetypes. Had a City Traders coming down for Alexander Kwan, and then a Mox Opal, and then a Torment's Crypt.
Ooh, another Torment's Crypt may actually be an issue.
And then he casts Temporal Fissure. I believe that's the Storm card.
Yes. The Storm Boomerang.
Stormerang. But no, just unloading out to get that Mox Opal into play as a mana source.
Now, I mean, the double crypt is actually a pretty big issue for Joe.
Yeah,
it's
Joe
like,
does not have a Pithing Needle.
He doesn't have repeals, he doesn't have needles, he doesn't have, it's pretty tough for him to deal with that. He can, though.
Yeah, he's got 2 Krosan Grips, a Kasali Pride Mage, and a Venser.
But it's interesting because he didn't use a Force of Will on that second crypt, so he must think that what he has right now, he can handle it.
Yeah. I'm just imagining white creatures beating down at this point. Throws a last card in his hand, the Blast, at that Illusionist.
So now he's just got nothing. So. Oh, that's about as good as he gets off nothing.
Off the top of the library, how about a great library manipulation
Alex
spell? Yep. Force of Will.
Mm-hmm.
Well worth it. End of the turn. Brainstorm, perhaps. Leaving a possibility for green open, which would give him the opportunity for Worldly Tutor. Yeah.
Oh, so Abeyance actually gets around the crypt as well.
Yeah, the activation costs turn on.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty exciting.
That's very exciting.
And then he goes Brainstorm, end of the turn, Joe Lossett Brainstorm into Worldly Tutor.
Ooh.
Solid.
It's pretty good.
I mean, you're always losing that card from that tutor, but when it's getting the exact card you're looking for,
I think the exact card he's looking for is actually Abeyance.
well, the exact creature that he's looking for.
Yeah.
Kasali Pride Mage?
I mean, it only kills one of the things.
No, just as a creature to beat down for 3.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's actually fine. It depends, too. He may just have combo cards in hand with an Abeyance,
Mhm.
and then... But I doubt it, because he did pitch the Illusionist, right? Or the Illusionist was countered.
Can't quite tell with that. It looks white.
What's Karmic Guide?
Karmic Guide.
Ooh, he's just gonna cast a Karmic Guide, huh?
You count?
Protection from black.
It's pretty cool.
Return your other one.
There's the land he needs for it.
Yep.
And does he have a Narcomoeba in his yard?
Yeah, he also has a Cephalon Illusionist.
Oh yeah, the Illusionist.
Yeah.
That might actually even be worth sucking up one of those Tormod scripts to stop the Illusionist from coming back. So what are you targeting?
Yeah. I'm gonna play right. I don't know if this is right, but I'll waste the.
Yeah, it's all too good.
Yep.
Now, normally the classic phrase is "Echo is for chumps." I can predict Joe will be paying Echo here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Sensei's Divining Top off
Jeez.
of the top.
Credit for that one since you didn't plan that.
Alex really, really draws well this top 8.
The people that are left laughing at the situation that just pulled up there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you run well.
Yeah.
It's certainly a nice thing to do.
Usually when you win a tournament, or even if you get in the finals of a tournament, you were running well that day.
Oh, yeah. You have to run well.
Yeah, I mean,
Playing
it's
well is not
it's
enough.
not just playing well is not enough. Having a good deck is not enough. It's got to work itself out.
Yeah.
Magic has enough randomness that running well is a requirement. I mean, the Pro Tour is full of players that are good playing a deck that might be called the best deck in the tournament who didn't win the tournament.
Yeah. Alright, Joe pays the echo cost. And,
In for
starts pounding
3.
in.
Knocking down the life totals.
One fetch land only. No force. No pay land.
Yeah, no, that doesn't take
Say
damage.
trades don't take damage.
Alright, I guess
I
I'm actually wrong then.
This is a pretty scrappy game right here. The other games we've watched have all been kind of, throughout the entire top 8, the other games we've watched have been very degenerate. This game is,
Well, they both are blunting each other with their disruption. You know,
Oh, yeah,
between
yeah. They're forcing
Cabal
each
Therapies
other,
and Force of
there's
Wills and Force of Wills and
crypts and-
Blasts. You know, they're blunting each other's power.
Yeah.
And so you're left with fighting with a Karmic Guide.
boom. And that's dangerous. That's
That is some
extraordinary.
roughness.
Now we have a top activation.
Wow.
And, Let's see what happens here. Now,
Pyroblast on top.
I use it.
Painter Servant.
Yikes. Blue. Joe untaps quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That welder does so much work.
Preordained from Joe.
It looks to me that the only answer he has to a welder in play is either Gilded Drake, only answers Woodfall Primus, or just winning with Advance. Just winning.
Right out.
Obey you.
Getting it.
There's an Encore. On tap. Sensei's Divining Top.
And I mean, now with the with all this blast on the top of his library, has he not seen a grindstone the entirety of this game?
He is not, I don't believe.
Jeez. So there's been a decent amount of library manipulation. It's surprising to have not seen that yet.
Looked like a seat of Synod, 3 down.
Mm-hmm.
Says go.
Which passes the turn. And Joe thinks for a bit, untaps, draws.
What do we have
And,
for the life totals right now?
In comes Karmic Guide.
We're going to be updating that momentarily. 13 for Alexander Kwan, 16 for Joe Lossett.
Now,
Untap. Nile Spellbomb. And what's another Tormod's Cryptomunk friends?
yeah, I mean, it's a bance or bust
Yeah.
as far as comboing goes, but Karmic Guide, so good. Karmic Guide is, you know, surprisingly, it doesn't look like it's the most powerful card, but when you cube draft, it's actually one of the best cards you can possibly get.
Brainstorm. Sensei's Divining Top.
And I believe he just passes again.
Alexander Kwan is now at 8 life, many turns away from death at this point. End of the turn, taps, activates, in response, welds, gets another Sensei's Divining Top. Is that what that is? Yes. Oh, that's so good. That means he gets the draw. He still has that top. Activates the top to draw 3 or to look at the top 3 cards. Now he has a card drawing engine. Sensei's Divining Top. Looking again at the top 3. Joe hoping that his Karmic Guide can get there.
I'm confused. What did you mean by card drawing engine?
When you have a Sensei's Divining Top, and then you have some means to get rid of that Sensei's Divining Top, So what you can do is you can tap the Sensei's
Oh,
Divining
yeah,
Top
okay.
to draw a card.
Yeah.
In response, then you'll use the Goblin Welder,
So,
in this
yeah.
case to switch place with the other Sensei's Divining Top. And then you draw a card, but there's no Sensei's Divining Top to put on top of the library. It's gone, but it doesn't care. So you still draw the card.
Yep.
And then we top again. It looks to me like I think there's another welder there. Does it again. Card drawing engine.
Nice little Juicy Apprentice he has going right now.
And Sensei's Divining Top once again.
Eventually he will draw a Grindstone. But Joe may just have an abeyance to respond to the Grindstone, which may actually win him the game. Well, no.
Not
the
to,
next
well,
turn.
yeah, it's not gonna. There we go. We got 2 mana for City of Traders, 3 mana for the Trinket Mage.
Which finds a Grindstone.
And what do we have here? We have to counterspell that. There's a Force of Will.
Pyroblast.
Pyroblast. This is the fight of the century.
This is the last counter war of the match.
And that should do her. Goes and gets to tutor into his hand.
A Grindstone.
Yep. He's got 2 versions, the Nile Spellbomb and the Torment Script, of a means to stop the Sarah Avatar from being able to end things. And there we go.
And there it goes.
Joe Lossett.
And Alexander Kwan
Wow.
is your Star City Games Legacy Open champion in
at
Los
that.
Angeles this
There.
weekend.
A big pat on the back from his friend.
And let me tell you, when in the last round of Swiss, I saw him brainstorm and put 2 lands back at the top of his library with no shuffle effects and
Right.
nothing on the table, I thought he was out of this tournament. And here
Absolutely.
he is winning the event. Congratulations to Joe Lossett making
Yeah.
the finals, playing a very innovative breakfast deck.
Right.
I'm almost